CPCDOS OSx is a preemptive, multitasking modular monolithic co-kernel for x86 systems. This free project aims to facilitate the creation of a 32-bit operating system in console, but while favoring the graphical interface. It allows the execution of Windows files, X, to execute several OS in parallel. It includes its own CPCDOS C+ language to simplify programming, but other languages are possible such as C or C++, HTML or CSS, Lua, Python to come. It allows you to run Clang or LLVM files, and also renderings 3D with OpenGL or GZE. No special knowledge is required. CPCDOS is open to everyone, whether you're a beginner or a regular programmer. Logical methodology, a small mathematical base, some computer terms, and patience will be more than enough visual interface. Here are two examples of the new CPCDOS C+ v3.0 language. Creation of a transparent window, of a button which displays a message. Using generic VESA, VGA, SVGA methods, you can assign screen resolutions supported by your graphics card and monitor. The following resolutions standard 4:3 like 800 by 600, 1024 by 768. High definition 16:9, 1610 like 1920 by 1080, 1600 by 900 4K, to see winking face. The depths of colors 16-bit, 65,536 colors, 24-bit, 16,777,216 colors, 32-bit, 4,294,967,296 colors. You can create windows, buttons, picture boxes, text boxes, checkboxes, slide bars, progress bars, create your graphic interactions, events on the fly, animations. That is, everything an operating system needs to interact with the user. It natively supports PNG, JPEG or JPEG, JFIF and MJPG video stream format. Memory being a 32-bit system, CPCDOS is theoretically capable of supporting 4 GB of RAM. It depends on whether you have dedicated graphics memory or not, which is more than enough for the moment. The running kernel alone consumes an average of 2 to 30 megabytes of RAM. This kernel partially manages its memory on its own in experimentation. Indeed, in view of the separation with the FreeDOS boot, the memory allocation must be managed only by CPCDOS. To date, all the internal part, shell, client, TCP server, UDP, threads, processors, graphical interface, RGBA bitmaps, 3D engines, is subject to memory allocation of CPCDOS, except the LLVM. System in depth, CPCDOS is able to manage an infinity of threads, processors. Their execution time is counted in microseconds according to their execution priority, but also dynamically change the priorities. For example, if you are running a TCP server but that there is no activity, so the system will prioritize other tasks. And vice versa. It also allows you to execute external native code. Execute external native code. This is where the notion of the modular core comes from. CPCDOS is able to dynamically load and execute an infinite number of modules, x86 code or instruction block, coming from outside the kernel, and to create links. These can be programs in compiled files such as Windows executables, X, DLL, LLVM or Clang, or even drivers. Caution: preemption is deactivated on the external modules. Assumes that the .x, BC, and C++ routines are executed in critical section mode to temporarily fill the crashes linked to a bad management of the virtual memory of CPCDOS and backups or restores of the contexts of the tasks. It also manages its own double syntax programming language under the name of CPCDOS C+. That is to say, it is possible to use both the French FR and N English syntax, or both. It has the particularity of simplifying and automating the execution of sequences of code complicated to manage for beginners. Small innovation: CPCDOS is capable of running several OS in parallel, no virtualization. Performance remains correct. It is also possible to switch between the OS running and in future to window the OS in the background. A minimum Pentium 4 processor and 254 megabytes of RAM is recommended. Network precisely layer 3 of the OSI model. The network is now managed by CPCDOS and not FreeDOS or NDIS2. A major advance, in particular in the distribution of multi-threaded tasks and the possibility of controlling your system remotely from your phone or from your PC or from a 232 rupee serial COM port. You can open a TCP or UDP server in normal, Telnet, Echo mode. It is possible to download web files from a URL via the HTTP 1.1 protocol now natively managed by CPCDOS. You can therefore make HTML requests, PHP, web services. Everything the FTP protocol will be implemented very soon. In addition to Telnet, you can also control or debug your system from the 232 rupees serial COM ports with PuTTY or any terminal. Go to cpcdos.net to download CPCDOS.